Ladies and gentlemen, our program is about to begin. Please take your seats. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, VMware would like to thank its Global Diamond sponsors. And its Platinum sponsors for VMworld 2019. With over 150,000 members globally, the VMware user group connects VMware customers, partners, and employees to resources, technology, and knowledge sharing. Discover the power of community. Visit the VMUG booth in the Solutions Exchange or the VMUG Lounge in Moscone West, Level 3. Become a VMUG member today. This presentation includes forward-looking statements that are subject to risks and uncertainties. Actual results may differ materially as a result of various risk factors, including those described in the 10-Ks, 10-Qs, and 8-Ks VMware files with the SEC.
You are the ghost that runs the machine, the magician in the cloud, the invisible hand, configuring, modding, and tweaking things no one else can see, until the instant something breaks, and all hell breaks loose. And they come looking for, yeah, that's right, you. Because, let's face it, no one knows the stuff like you. And no one knows the journey it took to get you here. The fires you walked through, the endless hours. It's a long and lonely path. There are no red carpets, no adoring crowds. Everybody looks to you to keep the plane flying and retool the engine while wing walking at Mach 5. But it's your life, and it's your job, and it's an awesome job. And you know how to absolutely crush it. You are Sherlock, Hermione, and Morpheus, all rolled into one. You have the know-how to face up to any challenge with battle-tested grit, the caffeine level to power you through a 72-hour configure fest. Meanwhile, the world never stops changing, and neither will you. And while some folks might not completely grok it, you've got what it takes to master what's coming next and bring an entire organization, maybe even an entire industry, along for the ride. The stage is set. The moment is right. Make your mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pat Gelsinger.
Welcome to VMworld 2019, and on behalf of everyone at Team VMware, thank you. Thank you for joining us this week. I'm thrilled to be back in San Francisco, the hub of tech on the planet. Sorry for all of you Vegas lovers. This is my 8th VMworld and marks my 7th anniversary as the VMware CEO. Hard to believe. We got some cool announcements today, update on our strategy, and we'll just geek out a little bit together. So let's just dive into it a little bit. You know, our theme for today is tech in the age of any. And we're seeing that we have tremendous variety and choice that defines this world of tech innovation today. And today we're going to explore this natural tension between choice, which we love, and complexity, which could overwhelm us. And as technologists, we create a lot of that choice, and yet we're the ones who have to manage and make it work. And Stephen Covey, one of my favorite business authors, gave this quote that strength lies in differences, not in similarities. Or, the old saying, variety is the spice of life. And we love the variety of our community that we have here. If you think about that, think about the VMware community that we have gathered here at VMworld today, 100 countries represented. 5,000 different organizations, 116 different native languages, and just one little tidbit that you might not be aware of, 22% of you are actually learning Klingon. So for that 22%, to you I say Nukne, which is hello in Klingon, or more literally translated, what do you want? And the capital H is the proper spelling. Just like good engineers, we triple check that. And just in the last few days, we're yet again expanding this community and the family. And it is my joy, privilege, and honor to welcome Rob Mee and all of the Pivotal team to the VMware family. Rob, if you would just stand up. And to all of the Pivotal family, stand up as well. We are thrilled to have you as part of Team VMware. We welcome you to the family. We've been working together for years. We see amazing synergies, and we're going to explore that in just a few minutes as we dig into that a bit more. It's also my thrill to welcome Carbon Black to the VMware family. All right, Patrick? Just last week, announcing our intent to acquire Pivotal and Carbon Black, Patrick's the CEO of an amazing cybersecurity company headquartered in Boston, doing amazing work, and we're thrilled to talk to you more about how we're bringing together their technology with ours to advantage you, our customers and partners. But if we take a step back for a moment, we think about this era of digital tech that we're in. And for me, in October, it will be 4 decades as a professional in the technology. It's almost scary to say that out loud. 4 decades? I'm not that old, am I? And it's easy to forget not long ago that this was a decade of a relatively small community. And by that I mean me, like many of you, we were just geeks. We were the latest megahertz and speeds and feeds, and we were pretty cool. And our digital life was very separate from our daily life. But we've seen that these two worlds, not only have they begun to converge, but they've permeated in a fundamental and dramatic way over the last few years. And it truly is a global phenomena, and we're just beginning to understand the implications of that. And for me personally, I wake up at 4 a.m., the old farm boy in me, and within 10 minutes of me getting out of bed, I'll have checked my text, checked my email, I'll have uploaded the data on my Oura ring to check my sleep, my heart rate, my temperature, right? And I'll be on my high-tech training bike, listening to my Audible app at 1.75x so I can blow through more books each morning. That's 10 minutes of my first morning at 4 a.m. Each of these areas, literally, they're permeating our daily life, and there's thousands of applications that are integrating in deep, meaningful, and central ways. And it's stunning to see who's building these applications. We've seen this explosion of developers tripling over the last 10 years. And even more powerfully, 6x the number of applications. At the same time, we're seeing incredible diversity in the apps, the languages, the environments, and over the next 5 years, that just explodes to 750 million applications. And how does that be scalable? How do we streamline the infrastructure, the coding, the environment to enable and deploy that? But as the saying goes, we ain't seen nothing yet. And with cloud as the foundation, we're about to redefine the application experience. We're expanding in AI, edge, and 5G, moving to the edge of the physical and digital world, bringing intelligence to everything, and being able to connect with every human on the planet. Each of these is powerful, but they're each accelerating each other. And tech will have a greater impact than ever before in our lives. But this leads to this question. Technologies, they amplify human behavior, both the good and the bad. And then we'd ask the question, is technology good or bad? And the answer is generally neutral, right? It's neither good or bad, but it's often how we shape it. And will technology shape the world that we want to live in, or will it create a world that we're afraid to live in? And as technologists, we can't afford to think of tech as someone else's problem, to think through its implications. And we at VMware put tremendous energy into what does it mean to shape technology as a force for good. And I sincerely and deeply believe that technology has the opportunity to expand the life of every human on the planet, eradicating chronic diseases that have plagued mankind since its origins, to give modern education to every child on the planet, to lift the remaining 10% of the planet out of extreme poverty, to reverse the implications of climate change. We, as technologists, first and foremost, need to participate in the shaping. We have this unique opportunity to sit in the driver's seat as no others do. And I want to take a moment and share an extraordinary story with you. The upper right picture here is a picture of schools in Nairobi, Kenya. And you might have heard last year I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro as a fundraiser to build a girls' school in Kenya to help lift girls out of poverty and tribalism. A tremendous and wonderful event for me personally and for the schools there in Nairobi. Today, we have a better story than that. One of our own, one of our VMworld folk, and we deeply believe in this idea of bringing life together as part of how we live, but not just how we work, but truly being this force for good in everything that we do. And on Friday of the last week, Callum Eade, our vice president of SDDC and sales in APJ, swam the English Channel to raise money for cancer research. Callum is a stud of studs, an athlete of athletes. He's done 16 Ironmans. He's strenuously trained to swimming over 20 miles in this icy water, getting bit by jellyfish, wearing only a swimsuit, goggles, an official swim across it. Less than 1,800 people since 1875 has swum the English Channel. The second fastest, is it Aussie? No. All right, Kiwi. I crossed lines there. The second fastest Kiwi to ever swim the English Channel at 10 minutes and 56. Congrats, and please join me in welcoming Callum Eade to the stage.
Thank you.
So, sorry to cross such international lines there. But how was your week? It was just Friday that you were flat in the washer, and here you're on stage. What are you doing? You didn't swim here, did you?
No, I got to tell you, these arms aren't going to be lifted up for a while. Unless you want to go to the bar later, we could do that.
Kiwis are good at that.
That's true.
Why do it?
It was one of the biggest things was that it was just an insurmountable goal. It really was. And it's funny, watching your opening, one of the things I wanted to do was make my mark. And working with the team at VMware was a big part of doing that.
And you had a specific objective in mind as you swam this.
Absolutely. So I'm wearing a jacket for a charity called Tour de Cure, which is based out of Australia. We wanted to work in not just raising money to cure cancer, but we also wanted to target a specific cancer. And my wife, Sarah, and I just agreed that we would look at children's cancer, because for those of you that are parents in the room, there is no one in this room, in this world, that should have to bury a child. So we thought if we could find something that we could do, we found a research program for a tumor called DIPG. Now, to give you a reference point, DIPG was the same cancer that took the life of Neil Armstrong's child 50 years ago. So this tumor has had a mortality rate that has been unchanged, i.e., every child that's diagnosed dies within the first 12 months.
That's just incredible, just incredible. And as you know, Callum, I was with my son as he battled Hodgkin's lymphoma a couple of years ago and through his chemo treatment. And I'll tell you, a parent taking his child through cancer, just devastating to the family. Now, but it takes a team to do this, Callum.
Absolutely.
So, and you brought a team with.
Yeah, so firstly, thank you for your help as well, and for VMware's help. In the front row, I have my wife, Sarah. I have my daughter, Sophie, and my son, Charlie.
They're just a little excited.
That's right, they don't like the camera at all. And what I will say is that this whole process, it's been around not just the training, which has been arduous, and I want to thank Duncan Hewitt as well for allowing me to do it in conjunction with my job. But as we've done this, this family that you talk about has extended. And you talk about bringing people on a journey and building a team. And one of the other people that's in the front row is Joel Need from Afterburner, who I recruited to be on my boat. And he is someone that's also a cancer survivor.
And he also climbed Kilimanjaro with me last year. Joel, we thank you, man. You are great.
And can I just add, I want to reflect also, and I say this with absolute respect of you, Pat, you stood up in our all hands in APJ only 6 months ago and reinforced categorically the importance of not just being focused on our careers, but being able to balance that with family and goals and sport. And I took a lot out of that. So thank you for your inspiration.
Oh, man, thank you, Callum. And why the English Channel? Well, that's like cold and nasty and ships, and what are you, nuts?
I don't know. You know what, I'll tell you, 10 years ago, it was a really good idea. It took me 10 years to convince my wife, so when she finally went, you can do it, I'm like, well, how do I say no now? And to give you an idea, it's, if most of you would have landed at San Francisco Airport, the distance is the same as San Francisco Airport to Palo Alto.
Oh my gosh. And
the water temperature is 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was a challenge.
So you did it.
Yep.
So what's next?
Well, before I tell you that, I'd also just like to say, as far as the charity is concerned, the research is concerned, one of the big components was this. Many people in this room who I've worked with for a long time,
thank you,
using your program contributed. So I want to say thank you so much for everybody in here and everybody that's watching online that contributed to the charity. Thank you. And the pledge, the request from the pledge, using this money to try and cure DIPG was for $100,000. We raised $130,000. So thank you, everybody.
So, great. What's next?
So I'm so excited that my wife's in the room. I'm not going to do any more sports activities. We're going to go on a holiday as a family. I'm going to pitch a tent in the backyard, and we're going to do something together. Is that the right answer for doing? Okay.
Okay, very good. Callum Eads, one of our very own. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Truly spectacular. And thank you for the family. Literally, they got out of the water, we threw him on a plane and brought him over here so he could celebrate with us today. Now the lower right picture, you might remember from this stage last year, we talked about Mercy Ships, the most modern, largest floating hospital. And we're just super excited about the work that they do. But this year, we've gone from floating hospitals to flying hospitals. Let's hear from Angel MedFlight.
What's going on with the patient clinically, and where are they currently located?
When someone's calling us, they're calling us because they're in a very dire situation. I try to put myself in their shoes. What would I do if this were my mom, my sister, my grandfather, my husband, my child?
The jet itself is configured on the inside like an ICU.
You're going to want to get your loved one to the best possible care. And Angel MedFlight gives you that option. It was specifically designed to provide air medical care at 40,000 feet.
We are the operation team coordinating the entire transport from A to Z.
Technology is the backbone of everything that we do.
Literally, I have 6 computer screens in front of me. I need every one of them.
You set the goal, then you work backwards and you find the partners that really can work within what you want to build. And for us, that was VMware.
Thank you for calling Angel MedFlight.
The phone call comes in from the patient, and like that, within an hour, we've got the flight scheduled.
It's a heart transplant. You've got a very small amount of time to get that patient to the transplant center. And when you put something like that together and you put a team behind it, anything is possible. I know that we can't provide miracles here, but with technology, you can do some amazing things. We give you the possibility of a second chance. We have so many stories, moms who hug you so hard that you've never been hugged like that before. You have a husband who's like, thank you so much for just flying my wife home. And it's amazing.
Isn't that incredible? Instead of the organ to the patient, dramatically higher success bringing the patient to the organ. Incredible work. But as we think about this as technologists, we have to acknowledge that often the innovations and the breakthroughs that we do get used in unanticipated ways. And as we think about that, we'll call it the law of unanticipated consequences. Free and freemium apps as service, we couldn't imagine living without them today, could we? But then we realize we've sacrificed our privacy in profound ways. Similarly, we've brought together communities for more relationship online. And all of a sudden, we realize that we've created platforms for mass disinformation at scale. And then blockchain, this idea of distributed immutable trust, right? Is it good or bad, right? And it's given way to Bitcoin, which I will argue is bad. 95+% of its uses are illicit and criminal. And it is a climate crisis, consuming almost a household of energy for every single ledger entry. Bitcoin today is not okay, but the underlying technology is extremely powerful, and blockchain and distributed ledger is not the problem. And we at VMware created an enterprise distributed ledger, good for the environment and suitable for enterprise purposes. And just this week, we announced a partnership with Australian Stock Exchange and digital assets to bring this into the marketplace. Because we believe we must do both good engineering and engineering for good. And we're always looking for how can we have an exponential impact for our people and our planet. And it turns out that one of the sectors that we stumbled upon is the nonprofit sector, right? And this is stunning, right? There's over 12 million nonprofits in the world, and they implicate 4.5% of global GDP is the nonprofits. That impact is massive, both direct and indirect. That is triple the GDP of the worldwide auto industry is the nonprofit sector. Isn't that amazing? It's larger than the GDP of Germany. And engaged with many of these, they do great work, but their technology sucks. And we're so excited to be working right here in San Francisco with TechSoup. And TechSoup is committed to being a one-stop IT shop to bring the best of technology to those nonprofits. Let's take a closer look.
TechSoup was founded as a local Bay Area organization by the nerds of the world. TechSoup is a network of international NGOs. The key to our mission is to enable all those other missions out there.
The greatest thing about TechSoup is that it makes technology accessible. We use TechSoup for accessing accounting software, for cybersecurity software, for hardware.
I love Mother Coder's mission, the idea of taking an important part of the workforce that may be underutilized and allowing them to gain technology skills.
We had a lot of moms who looked at technology and said, yes, I want a piece of it, but they didn't know how to access the industry. Our mission is to grow the tech talent pool by helping more moms break into the tech industry.
TechSoup has historically served the smallest organizations. We have a value around inclusivity, and we don't want to leave organizations behind.
As we move into the next phase of technological transformation, it's so important to empower everyone.
There's a lot of amazing social good that's going on, and almost everything threads to technology. But again, it's not about the tech by itself. Technology is not inherently good or inherently bad, right? But if we help people use it effectively, that it makes a difference for them.
I have 2 little girls, and I do what I do because I want to build a better world for them, for everyone.
Isn't that incredible? You know, and TechSoup is working with 1 million charities. One of those is Mother Coders that was featured there. And if you think about it, 24% of technology is women. So think about that. Half of humanity is half represented in the most important area of the future, technology. That is simply not right. And we're honored to be working with TechSoup, a partner with them, an investor in their work. And please join me in welcoming Rebecca Massasak, who's here with us, the TechSoup CEO. Thank you, Rebecca, for being with us. We're an investor in their work. They're leveraging VMC to scale, our VMware Cloud and AWS, to scale their mission and expand globally, bringing world-class technology to every nonprofit. You know, and when we think about this, you know, it's an incredibly exciting time to be a technologist. But honestly, I could have said that 10 years ago. What's different today is I think there's never been a more important time to be a technologist. Like it or not, we have a bigger role to play in the future of the planet and humanity than ever before. You know, and as we think about this, you know, who will be the ones to harvest technology to address these biggest challenges of our time? You know, who is able to operationalize these superpowers of edge, AI, 5G in the world? Who is able to bring these platforms and run them, manage them, connect them, and protect all of these applications? Simply, the answer is you. No one is more qualified, more capable to do that. You know, and if I had to pick a single community, it is you. You know, if you're one of our VMware certified professionals, you are qualified. Are you, any of you out there? How about our VCIXs? Say, let me hear you, come on. Yeah. How about, you know, all of our, you know, VMUG leaders? Are you guys out there? Are you passionate about this? Can you guys capitalize? And how about the PhDs of VMware, the VCDXs? Can I hear from you guys? Yeah, this is the top of the top for VMware. This community is the ones who can be experts to operationalize this world, right? You can go from infrastructure experts, and you're uniquely positioned to become cloud experts, AI, edge, and operationalize. All of this is what you can do as we see this powerful impact in the world in front of us. This is the opportunity that we have to leverage and expand. Now, this picture, the VMware Vision, remains unchanged. Everything we do is building and executing upon it. Each year we're improving, refining, but our strategy is the same as we're marching to deliver any cloud for any application, for any device with intrinsic security. So let's click into this a little bit more, looking a bit over at this bit more detail of the any cloud and any app piece of this. You know, we live in a complex world defined by diversity. Diversity in how we think about the cloud infrastructure and how we operate on-premise, in the cloud, on the edge. It also is more complex than ever before in the applications, traditional apps, cloud-native, SaaS services. It's also more complicated in the operations of these cloud services. We have increasing set of AI, and where's the data for that, and what's the governance of my data requirements in those worlds, and you know, the operations for this, different tools and security. You know, is this good or bad? You know, is this innovation helping us or harming us? Does it create chaos or opportunity? Does it inspire us or empower us? And we believe technologists who master the multi-cloud generation will own it for the next decade. Will deliver incredible value to the businesses that you serve. And a couple of my heroes are these customers. Comcast had two challenges. How could they really get a handle on total cost of ownership, as well as giving their developers instant access to the latest advances in cloud service? And they have built a modern private cloud with connectivity to the public cloud that is uniquely solving and delivering high operational integrity and cost controls. FedEx, heavily leveraging VMware Cloud Foundation, as well as Pivotal, to build scalable internal private cloud across on-prem and their edge and colo locations, but also enabling them with modern apps, containers, and Kubernetes. IHS Markit, right? A tremendous example of a hybrid cloud customer. They had a goal of rapidly moving to 80% in the public cloud. Heavily leveraging VMware Cloud on AWS and HCX, they were able to get consistent operations and processes and are now able to migrate 1,000 applications in just 6 weeks. Incredible. These are my heroes, customers who are taking and delivering and operating this cloud world at scale. The VMware multi-cloud strategy, obviously, is built on what we've done together for several decades. We built a preferred partnership with Amazon. We've now expanded that to have all of the cloud and the hyperscalers in the industry, uniquely working with IBM and that relationship the last several years, and now a couple thousand customers, just launching with Google, and we'll touch on Microsoft a little bit later. Simply put, we're enabling any cloud environment where you can build, run, manage, connect, and protect across that environment. Let's start by looking at build a little bit more carefully. And as we think about build, we see that there's this unique challenge between the developer who wants the latest services, build their modern applications, and IT and operations. How do you run it all and keep it all up? And we see that Kubernetes has emerged as this ubiquitous infrastructure that can connect developers and IT operations. Since Java, the virtual machine, or cloud, we haven't seen a technology as critical as Kubernetes. And Kubernetes is achieving industry consensus and energy as the platform that will connect these two worlds, developers and IT operators. Some think about Kubernetes as container orchestration, but we believe it is much, much more. And this quote by our own Joe Beda, that maybe it's more like improvisational jazz, right? When something unexpected happens, the rest of the players adapt. And today, to lay out our strategy in the area of Kubernetes, I'm going to use a little bit of help. I'm going to get some help from a Kubernetes celebrity, one of the founders and creators of Kubernetes, and now a principal engineer at VMware, Joe Beda. And Joe is, much more than just a leader in this community. He was the first committer to Kubernetes. He was a longtime Googler who created the technology, as this platform for distributed systems. Right? When I first met Joe, it was at a KubeCon, and I couldn't even get anywhere close to him because the lines were piling up for selfies and for signatures of his book. Right? This guy is a rock star in the Kubernetes community. Welcome to Joe Beda on stage with us today.
You're too kind, Pat.
Hey, so Joe, it is so good to have you. But since I didn't get the selfie at KubeCon, would it be okay if we do it now?
I want a selfie with you, Mr. CEO of the Year.
Yeah, okay. So let's do this here. So if you guys could be a little bit crazy back here. So let's get it here. Okay, all right, Joe. Come on, crazy. There we go.
Awesome.
So, Joe, this is just so exciting to have you here and lay out our Kubernetes strategy, for the audience. And tell us about how Kubernetes uniquely connects developers and operators.
Well, when we created Kubernetes, we were really trying to achieve this sort of Goldilocks level between operators and developers. We wanted something that was low level enough to be able to deal with any application, any language that you can throw at it. But we also wanted something high enough that it actually provides real value and accelerates developers as they try and get their work done. And we wanted that to span any infrastructure, public cloud, private cloud, edge.
But, it's this challenge of flexibility and complexity, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. So Kubernetes, to do all that, is incredibly flexible, but oftentimes folks need to be Kubernetes experts to get the most out of it. But really what enterprises need is a secured, opinionated experience through this. And the best company to deliver this is VMware. And this is really, honestly, the reason why Heptio joined up.
We are just so thrilled to have you as part of this team. And we've been investing heavily in Kubernetes, where over the last couple of years, we've risen to be the #3 contributor to Kubernetes and open source. We acquired Bitnominate, a packager of open source and deployment of open source packages. Obviously, we acquired Heptio.
Thank you very much.
And obviously, the Pivotal acquisition and their leadership in this space. We're simply committed to this space, and we're excited to be bringing it to market. And in fact, we felt that we were, the message wasn't as clear as it needed to be and resound. And so today, I am thrilled to be introducing VMware Tanzu. VMware Tanzu is a portfolio of products and services to transform the way enterprises build software for Kubernetes. Tanzu is Swahili for branch, a new branch of innovation, or it's Japanese for container that's designed for portability. It just works, and I'm proud of our marketing and leadership team for a compelling message that we've brought together. And with Tanzu, we're going to be building, running, and managing applications, and we have exciting announcements in each of these 3 areas. You ready, Joe?
I'm ready. Let's go.
So first, in the build space.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's really all about applications. And it takes a village to be able to deliver the experience that developers need. And our village now has 5 million developers.
5 million developers.
That's right.
Pivotal and Bitnominate.
Exactly.
Oh, it's just incredible.
And so Bitnominate brings packaging and deployment technology that really has enabled tons of enterprises to do great things. And then Pivotal is the premier developer experience for cloud-native applications. And then we're amplifying all of that with a thriving ISV ecosystem.
And again, we're just thrilled to have Pivotal coming into VMware, the most popular Java framework available today. Spring Boot is downloaded 75+ million times per month. The Pivotal application service, 750K application instances. And obviously, we've been collaborating with Pivotal for years. And Rob, once again, thank you to you and your team for bringing us a tremendous set of capabilities and communities to this partnership. Thank you, Chad.
So Pivotal and Kubernetes go together like peanut butter and jelly. We've seen Pivotal really embrace Kubernetes. They're already actively moving Pivotal application services and Cloud Foundry, working with the Cloud Foundry community to run on top of Kubernetes. This is an alpha now. They're ensuring that Spring works great on top of Kubernetes, and they're getting involved in all sorts of open source projects, both those starting from Pivotal, but also the larger Kubernetes ecosystem, like projects like Knative. Pivotal is really a big part of the VMware Tanzu story, and I couldn't be more excited to welcome them to VMware.
So that's the build portion, but let's click into the run portion. Now, the idea is that you're going to be able to run Kubernetes, and we're committed to help you do that with consistency across all of these different environments. And today, we're addressing that with VMware PKS. But if we were really serious about Kubernetes, really serious, Joe, what would we do?
How about build it into vSphere?
Build it into vSphere? What do you think? And that's exactly what we are doing. Today, I'm excited to announce Project Pacific, an effort to embed Kubernetes directly into vSphere. Project Pacific unites vSphere and Kubernetes. It unites developers and operators. Project Pacific establishes vSphere as the platform for modern applications. vSphere, the most trusted platform today, the most trusted platform tomorrow. And that's what you bring to this party. Woo!
And this integration is not just skin deep, or not skin deep. We're building Kubernetes deep into vSphere, and along the way, we're actually making vSphere a much better place to run Kubernetes on vSphere. Operations teams will have one platform where they can manage all of their resources, including virtual machines and Kubernetes resources. And then application teams will get a self-service experience built on proven Kubernetes API patterns. This deep integration is happening both at that control and UI layer, but also deep at the virtualization layer. We're enhancing ESXi so that it can run Kubernetes in a native way, and we're seeing huge results. So far, and this is still early results, Kubernetes workloads running using these native capabilities runs 30 faster than traditional Linux virtual machines.
Hey, but Joe, come on. Yeah, we know Linux VMs are not all that impressive.
Yeah, well,
right.
We can do
right,
that.
Yeah. I mean, ESX versus Linux. Right. But we know the real thing is, are you better than Bear?
You know, I didn't believe this when I first heard about it. I had to actually talk to the team and be like, what's really going on here? And I had to understand what's going on. It turns out that these workloads running on ESXi with this enhanced capability can run up to 8% faster than bare metal, which is really an incredible result.
Woo. And with Project Pacific, we are bringing the largest infrastructure community, the largest set of operators, the largest set of customers directly to the Kubernetes. We will be the leading enabler of Kubernetes. Have we cranked it up enough yet, Joe?
Oh, we're getting there.
We're getting there. Now, but you have to manage these environments as well, you know, and providing the best incarnation of Kubernetes for them to build and run. Can we do that for management as well?
Yeah, we can. I think there's a lot to manage here. I think we're starting to see that flexibility, complexity rear its head again. As you look across multiple teams and applications, multiple clouds, multiple clusters, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot for folks to take in.
And today, I am thrilled to also announce VMware Tanzu Mission Control, the one product enterprises will use to manage their Kubernetes clusters. Enterprise grade, providing the control and visibility necessary for production at scale deployments. So Joe, you're leading this work, so can I really manage all my Kubernetes clusters through Tanzu Mission Control?
No matter where they are, we can help you out.
vSphere and PKS?
Of course.
And public cloud and private cloud?
Yep.
And the native services of EKS on Microsoft AKS and Google GKE?
That's right. We can help you out there, too. You got it, Pat.
We got it all.
So Tanzu Mission Control really brings us full circle. It brings developers and operators close together with one platform. Operators can provision clusters directly from Mission Control, and then they can set policy across things like access, backup, security, and more. Meanwhile, developers get the freedom to innovate, to do their best work within the guardrails set up by those operators. They get APIs, self-service, and a simpler way to collaborate.
And this is exciting, but how do we get from where we are today to VMware Tanzu? How do we get them started right now?
PKS is the answer. We're building Tanzu so that we have a smooth on-ramp for customers that are investing with PKS today, and we're going to bring them along to this exciting future.
So major announcements and build with our pivotal intent to acquire, and so excited to have them in the family, right, with Project Pacific, Joe.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
yeah, so we're running Kubernetes
and
enterprise Kubernetes using Project Pacific and establishing vSphere as the platform for modern applications. And then finally, we're using Tanzu Mission Control to be able to manage for both operators and developers, bringing those things together so that you have one place to manage your entire Kubernetes footprint.
Build, run, manage. I think we filled it in. Major announcements in each one of them. And I am expecting about 20,000 more selfies are yet to be taken from this audience. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Pat. It's been great.
So we've covered build. Let's dig into run and manage. And as we think about run and manage, you know, one of the greatest challenges of the multi-cloud world is how we manage across this diverse environment. And with the decentralized nature of the cloud, and this diversity will only continue to grow. And you know, this complexity with it, you know, loss of efficiency, security, and operational challenges that emerge from it. This is why we acquired Cloud Health, the clear leader in multi-cloud management. And Cloud Health delivers unified visibility across all of the cloud environments and addresses the runaway costs of cloud use. Today, Cloud Health is managing more than $10 billion in cloud spend under management. It's helping customers reduce their spend by 25% or more. I was having dinner with the CIO and his CEO recently, and I made a bet with him. Deploy Cloud Health, guaranteed 25% savings. And his CEO, he was so excited, I committed, I'd give a case of wine, and in my case, he was going to give me a case of sparkling cider. And the CEO was very happy to fund the bet because he's going to take it to invest in business innovation, changing the way people can operate multi-cloud. And since the acquisition, we're rapidly expanding the Cloud Health platform. Today, we're announcing Cloud Health Hybrid. And since the day we acquired Cloud Health, I was super anxious to get this capability that we can give an entire multi-cloud landscape, including private cloud, on-premise, VMC, allowing you to optimize the cloud economics across cost, usage, performance for the full set of hybrid cloud resources. We're also thrilled to announce Secure State and making that part of the Cloud Health platform as well. And managing across diverse clouds brings a new set of risk and governance issues, and we've seen some major breaches recently just in this area. And fundamentally, microservices and multi-cloud environments create a whole new set of security challenges. And this is exactly what Secure State addresses. And we're also extending the capabilities of our vRealize Cloud Automation Suite for multi-cloud automation, provision, and operations as well. But sometimes, what's the language that we use when we talk about cloud? And what's the difference between multi-cloud and hybrid cloud? And in some ways, I think we, VMware, have maybe helped to create some of this confusion. And simply put, we'll say multi-cloud is exactly that, operating multiple clouds. And our goal, and what we just discussed with Cloud Health, is to give you the tools to manage or have consistent operations in a multi-cloud world. In contrast, hybrid cloud provides not just consistent operations, but consistent infrastructure compatibility as well. And it's a proper subset of multi-cloud. So let's click into hybrid cloud a little bit more carefully. And for that, VMware Cloud Foundation is the platform for hybrid cloud. This is how we provide consistent infrastructure and operations. This is the cornerstone for data center, cloud, and edge. And VMware Cloud Foundation, simply put, is based on the best ingredients on earth. #1 compute, #1 in HCI and storage. Simply put, we're crushing we're winning in the marketplace in a big way, right? We're just separating from #2. You know what I mean? We're just really good in this space. And today, I'm also very happy to announce an expansion of our partnership with HPE. And we've been working with them, bringing VMware Cloud Foundation with their Synergy platform. And today, we're making that part of GreenLake, bringing their infrastructure as a service offering and extending those further in the industry. We're also #1 in SDN with our NSX platform and #1 in cloud management. And VMware Cloud Foundation combines that with a complete lifecycle management and test and validation on a broad set of use case. Simply put, this is the fastest path to the hybrid cloud. And today, we give you greater options than ever before for how you can access this incredible platform. You can build it in your environment, customer managed. We will manage it for you with the VMware Cloud on Amazon and on Dell EMC, or it could be partner managed. This is the cloud solution across the world and maybe even across the galaxy. Today, with VMware Cloud Foundation, it's the core of the cloud offerings from the top hyperscalers in the world, Amazon, Azure, Google Cloud, and IBM. Our VMware Cloud verified partners, 68 of them now, 4x since last year. And of course, the thousands of VMware Cloud partners across the world and the universe. And I was pondering this, I was thinking, we've brought together the major cloud providers, we've crossed between developers and IT, what's next? And I thought, maybe just possibly, we could bring the world of Star Trek, live long and prosper, and the world of Star Wars, may the Force be with you, together for the first time ever. these numbers are becoming spectacular. 10,000 cloud data centers over 128 countries. We now have seen over 70 million workloads running on the VMware platform, and now over 10 million of those are running in the cloud. This is just getting to be an enormous footprint to enable your hybrid cloud. Our partnership with Amazon, we brought together the leader in public cloud with the leader in private to deliver the premier hybrid cloud solution built on the VMware Cloud Foundation. And this platform, we've been going through rapid improvements, releases, expansions, and we're seeing incredible support across different industries as we add certifications and compliance. In the second half of this year, we'll be delivering on our Outpost announcement that we made in the fall of last year at reInvent with Amazon. We're expanding our global reach as we're now available in 16 regions, 4x that we had when we were here last year. And we're servicing businesses worldwide and multinationals. Last year, we committed to have AWS available in every region, and we're on track to fulfill that. And these are a few of the customers who've agreed to have us use their logos. And for many of these customers, we have become their data center operations. One of the top questions that we're getting when we engage with customers today is migrate or modernize, migrate and modernize first and migrate later. And we're rapidly realizing that customers want both, to both migrate to the cloud and to modernize their application. And we believe we have the unique opportunity to match the needs of both of these. And with that, we've seen that this cost of migration and cloud migration becomes a big stone wall that our customers are running into. It costs a lot, it's difficult, and in many cases, these migration initiatives drag out as they start seeing the incompatibility between data center and the cloud. The costs expand and risks become larger. And simply put, moving to the hybrid cloud enables live migration, no downtime, no refactoring, no training, the same tools, the same policy, the same skills. Literally, this is the path to deliver cloud migration and cloud modernization. And we're seeing that we'll be delivering Tanzu on top of the VMware Cloud, as well as all of the VMware Cloud partners. And we're excited that the full Tanzu portfolio will be made available on this platform. And this portfolio of services will enable you to build and run and manage your next generation Kubernetes applications, all on the VMware Cloud. We're also excited to be working to bring new technologies into this platform, and we're working with NVIDIA to enable the next generation of AI and machine learning capabilities as part of the VMware Cloud platform as well. And it's been my pleasure to work with Jensen Huang. And he and I, in my Intel days, we were sometimes partners, sometimes competitors, and today I'm happy to announce some key new innovations that we're working on together with them. Let's hear from Jensen now.
Artificial intelligence is the most powerful technology force of our time. And in fact, it has created the greatest computing challenge of all time. Machine learning and deep learning has allowed us to solve problems that we couldn't imagine solving just a few years ago. For data centers, we had to create a computer that integrates into the modern IT infrastructure. And that means it has to be virtualized with VMware, so that it's manageable, flexible, and secure. So we did two things. First, we created the NVIDIA Virtual Compute Server that virtualizes for the very first time this GPU compute architecture and makes it possible for us to run all of the modern workloads that require our GPUs seamlessly. Second, we established a partnership with VMware and Amazon so that this architecture burst naturally from any data center in the world into the Amazon cloud. I can't tell you how excited I am about this development, and I hope that all of you enjoy using it, and I can't wait to see the amazing AI that you create.
So partnering with NVIDIA. And we're also excited to be working with them on-premise and as an extension of our Bitfusion acquisition. And it's my pleasure to have Michael Zimmerman here in the audience, the CEO of Bitfusion, who's just joined VMware to allow us to fully virtualize and make GPUs and FPGAs a complete and proper element of the compute fabric that we make available through the VMware SDDC solution. And as you're on this journey to migrate and modernize applications, we're we're also giving you access to all of these burgeoning cloud services and applying those services to accelerate your application modernization. Access to machine learning, AI, data services, big data applications. We're also working to make those cloud services available in a hybrid way and bringing some of the key ones back on-premise as well, as we're doing with RDS with Amazon, which is now in private beta. We're also working with Microsoft Azure, and when we announced this partnership at Dell Tech World earlier this year, it was exciting for the industry to realize that we're going to bring the benefits of hybrid cloud to Azure data centers as well. And I'm happy to announce the global availability of this service today. And Microsoft has been working aggressively to roll out the Azure VMware solution. And today, available in US and Europe. By the end of the year, it will be in Australia and Southeast Asia. And by Q1 of next year in 9 data centers globally. Customers are already launching into this platform. Today, over 20 customers are on it, and companies like Lucky Brands, Dot Foods, and later today you'll be hearing from Gap, who are already running their workloads in the Azure VMware Cloud offering. We also announced at Dell Tech World that we were doing Project Dimension in partnership with Dell. Today, I'm announcing the availability of VMware Cloud on Dell EMC, a solution that we've co-engineered, VMware and Dell, that is operating the VMware Cloud Foundation, built on the industry-leading hyper-converged infrastructure of choice, VxRail, right, combining common cloud management with the VMware Cloud offering, a rich set of enterprise services from Dell that enable simplicity, scalability, and security. We're also today announcing a partnership with Equinix, who's becoming a hosting partner to deliver this in their centers so that more customers can take advantage of VMware Cloud on the Dell EMC solution. So now we've clearly laid out this comprehensive hybrid cloud environment across multiple clouds with Amazon, Azure, Google, and IBM. But now the question of how do you operate in the hybrid cloud world? Because all of the things that many of the operations needed to do, like capacity management, provisioning, automation, backup, DR, now you got to do that in the hybrid world. And VMware is the only vendor with this comprehensive list of services to help you do exactly that. We're taking our vRealize, the industry-leading cloud management platform, and delivering it as a cloud service for automation, network, operations. We're also building new products and services like HCX to help you migrate and accelerate the transition to the cloud. And we just announced HCX Enterprise, enterprise service to help you in your hybrid cloud migration and operation. We're also leveraging Bitnami to deliver a marketplace of third-party hybrid services. And today, we're announcing an expansion of our VMware and Dell EMC partnership to deliver DR as a service and data protection. VMware is leveraging Dell to provide improved DR as a service using AWS S3 for VMware Cloud on AWS. We're also working with Dell EMC PowerProtect to offer best-in-class data protection and integration to the VMware suite of capabilities. And this is just the beginning, a full set of hybrid optimized cloud-delivered services for your hybrid cloud solutions. Now, the conversation so far, we've made glancing reference to this idea of edge and telco. Let's dig into that a little bit more carefully. You know, first, what's the edge? Right? And I sort of, like this definition where the physical and the digital worlds intersect, or maybe in more computer science terms, this edge where low latency infrastructure is located and processed and protected at the edge of our computing fabric. And when we think about the edge, we're seeing just an explosion of use cases, from thin edge use cases like a remote office or medium edge like a retail franchise up to a full hospital location. But we also see it across the industrial edge, from a turbine up to a full factory location, or the telco edge from a smart device to a high-performance AR, VR experience, or a full smart city. And against that, VMware is providing a full portfolio of edge technologies so that you can be covered by VMware, whether it's your tiny edge, right, with maybe just a few devices and SD-WAN connectivity. You know, the medium edge, where we might add some compute and container capabilities, or the big beefy edge, a remote data center with telco NFV and the full VMware Cloud Foundation or Dimension on Dell EMC, satisfying the full set of edge requirements. And we're also seeing there's this massive wave occurring in the telco community. 5G is ushering maybe the biggest capital investment build-out for the rest of our careers, and telcos will play a bigger role in the cloud universe than ever before. But they're also changing their underlying infrastructure. In the past, it was a hardware-centric vertical silo like we built data centers 20 years ago, and now it's becoming a software layer across multiple generations of technologies. And the shift from hardware to software, we believe, is a great opportunity for US industry to step back in and play a critical role in 5G. We're also thrilled to acquire Uhana, powerful AI to optimize telco networks. And it's my pleasure to introduce the CEO, Sachin Katti. If you would stand up here, Sachin. In his spare time, Sachin's also a Stanford professor and really a recognized leader in telco networking, and we're thrilled to have him as part of our team to help bring our innovations into the telco network and world. Let's hear from one of the leaders in this space, Verizon.
I enjoy meeting our customers daily, and I'm hearing a lot of buzz about 5G. Verizon, a VMware customer, is one of the largest market cap telcos in the world and a leader in the 5G revolution. I had the chance to catch up with Hans Vestberg, Verizon's CEO, and the Verizon leadership team to learn more about their journey to 5G and what is it about their people, technology, and culture that makes them so well positioned to continue this leadership momentum.
5G is obviously going to be a game changer. Talk a little bit about how you think it's going to change the world.
When 5G was designed, I mean, a lot of the conversation was how can we transform industries? In 2G, 3G, and 4G, we had 2 capabilities or currencies, that was speed and throughput. In 5G, we have 8 of these currencies and capabilities, which means that you can optimize your low latency, enormous throughput, battery lifetime. We're going to build all the capabilities because network and our customer base is really going to need that.
I met with Tammy Irwin, CEO of Verizon Business Group, to get her perspective on the potential impact of 5G.
I'm super excited about with 5G is it's actually really coming to life. We're beginning to see some really exciting applications and solutions like a driverless car. Think back to a 4G world. Who knew you would develop a business like Uber or Lyft on the 4G ecosystem? That's exactly what happened.
I then had a chance to chat with Kyle Milady, Verizon's CTO.
How do you view the partnership with VMware?
You're looked at very positive light throughout the ecosystem of Verizon. But now as we move into the world of hybrid clouds, we move into the world of software-defined networking and driving more efficiency and using state-of-the-art technology. I think you guys are well positioned to be a partner of ours and help us through this as we try and drive efficiencies, get more nimble, and really get more products and services out to our customers quicker.
We view VMware as a critical partner to enable success and solutions for our customers. And when we can go to a customer and say, here's a solution, whether it's around enterprise mobility, whether it's around security, whether it's around SD-WAN, and we can say, here's a partner that we work with and have confidence in that, we know we're presenting a solution that is going to deliver to the customer what the customer expects from brands like yours. And those are the partners we want to do business with.
5G can change society, and that brings a new element of responsibility to what we're doing. I spoke with Hans and Tammy about their philosophy on technology and culture.
Why is that workforce and all you're doing to revitalize them super important to the future of Verizon?
Everything hangs together for me, and that's why we reinforce so much around what do we stand for as a company, how do we do responsible business, how do we act internally. As a CEO of such a huge company, having an impact on so many suppliers, so many customers, you actually need to be very responsible when you talk about things and what areas you really think are important. And ultimately, people follow you because of the values and the purpose you're portraying. And I think that we're trying to do that every day here in Verizon.
It is such a responsibility to be a leader, to create an environment where people can bring the very best version of themselves to work. I'm proud to work for a company that honors and respects the fact that we want to have diversity And inclusion and authenticity is not just enough to be represented. You need to be included and be part of the conversation. We need to make sure we're caring for and creating that environment.
Tammy, it's just been a pleasure. 5G is more than a technology change. It will be a behavioral change too. For instance, when 5G and emerging technologies transform education, we will build better societies. When we use tech for the environment, conservation efforts will advance, whether that's precision farming or preventing poaching. In particular, we want to answer this central question. How can 5G be harnessed as a force for good that benefits everyone?
What do you think? And we're just thrilled to be working with Verizon, the largest market cap telco in the world. And of course, when you talk about 5G, you get into networking. And let's click into the network just a little bit more deeply and what we're doing in that area. And a number of years ago now, we started this journey, and we laid out last year this idea of the virtual cloud network, the fabric for your multi-cloud journey. And it started in the data center. Now, we're connecting all of the clouds together in a consistent way and ensuring your network is aligned to your business needs and enabling it to be manageable and intrinsically secure. And now with NSXT, we support all types of workloads, non-vSphere, bare metals, and containers as well. And with NSX, we're building out a full set of services, starting with switching and routing, and then east-west firewalling and microsegmentation, and now a full service-defined firewall. We've added to that SD-WAN, and I'm thrilled with the momentum that we've seen in SD-WAN by VeloCloud. Now, 150,000 sites, 100 telcos, #1 in SD-WAN market share. And we're going to continue to expand the NSX portfolio. And it's my thrill that we acquired Avi Networks, application advanced load balancer capabilities as part of NSX. And today we have Amit Pandey. And if you could stand up here, welcome to the VMware family, Amit. And I just think about this as this perfect complement to NSX, this distributed software-defined architecture to deliver load balancing for web applications and firewalling for multi-cloud. Customers are seeing over 90% improvement in provisioning. And while you may not have heard of Avi, chances are if you've done an online payment, you bought a movie ticket, bought a concert ticket, or streamed the TV program, you're already a user of Avi. And we're thrilled to have them as part of our family of capabilities. And we've combined that with a comprehensive network insights and management platform with vRealize Network Insights. And today we're announcing NSX Intelligence, which combines with VR&I to provide the formation of policies, the ability to simulate those policies, which is super cool, and then the enforcement of those policies. And I hope you join the showcase, the network showcase keynote to see it in action and get a look at how it works. Clearly, NSX is the market-leading platform for software-defined network. Now, 88 of the Fortune 100, 13,000 customers. Every aspect of this is going so well. Customers like SAIC, the largest defense system integrator, who now 7,000 plus applications are being run on NSX. Automation, William Hill, a fast-moving online gaming company. NSXT is the single network platform. And I just loved they're the full SDN platform with NSX. They were totally bought into SD-WAN with VeloCloud, now operating thousands of their remote locations, and they were already an Avi Networks customer. So they're just perfect. I just asked them, who should I buy next? Right? And one by one, we have just seen customers buy into this whole vision. And ultimately, when you look in your data center, you got a lot of networking gear, a lot of that, systematically, you want to look at that, right? And as you peer into that environment, simply too much hardware. It's not economical. It's not distributed, difficult to scale out. Simply put, it's time to move that all into software. And the results that we're seeing from customers who make that move to a complete software-defined solution, replacing their hardware, are stunning. Over 2,000 customers, 59% CapEx and 55% OpEx reductions. It's time to replace your hardware. Savings you simply can't ignore. NSX, the software platform for the future. Now, next up in our program this morning, none other than our own Anderson Cooper, or Sanjay Poonen, is going to be describing and introducing a couple of customers to the stage, and then he'll be finishing on the last two key topics of the morning, both Carbon Black and its security role in our security strategy and our end user computing strategy. Sanjay Poonen, a friend, a partner, our COO and everything customer facing is part of him, and he also does a pretty good talk show as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Sanjay Poonen.
Great job.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Fantastic keynote. I'll try not to screw it up. All right, thank you. How's everybody doing, VMworld? You fired up? Fired up? Great to see 20,000 of you here in the room, and I think 250,000 watching this. Pat's just packed this place with innovation, and as you know, the two things that motivate VMware is innovation and customer intimacy. So it gives me great pleasure to bring out two customers. Would you join me in welcoming Rathi Murthy, who's the CTO of Gap, and Freddie Mac, who's the Deputy CTO of Freddie Mac. Tim Snyder, Deputy CTO of Freddie Mac. Come on in. Rathi, welcome.
It's my pleasure.
Tim, I almost gave you the name of your company. Come on in, have a seat. Delighted to have you here. I thought I would start on a somewhat informal note because Pat called me Anderson Cooper, okay? Rathi, you just did an incredible feat of going up to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, okay? And this might have been, I think, last year. Did you, where are you in that? I think we got you sort of zoned in there somewhere. That's you, right? Did you see a gentleman named Pat Gelsinger somewhere up there?
I must have been so out of breath, I must have missed him.
He did it too. Okay, so that's you. And Tim, you know, not to be outdone, you've got a great motorhome. I think we've got a picture of a motorhome here. Okay. Can you take that to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro? Because
haven't tried yet. Might need to make it four-wheel drive to do that.
Okay, what's your favorite place to take the motorhome?
We head down to the Outer Banks, North Carolina,
good.
all the time.
When you do that, when Pat did his Kilimanjaro trip, I've done mountain climbing a long time and I'm done. Maurizio and I decided to drive up to the top of Mount Tam, and this was us going a carpool karaoke. So if we can take the motorhome up Mount Kilimanjaro, we'll be happy. But let's start with you, Rathi. This is an incredible brand, Gap Inc. So many different. I've got my Banana Republic gear.
Thank you.
But you know, tell us a little about this incredible brand. My wife buys a lot from Athleta, probably maybe too much. But nonetheless, you are in the midst of bringing this incredible business brand and IT together. How do you map business goals and IT priorities together?
That's a great question. I mean, one, we are a platform that has to provide a ubiquitous set of capabilities across all our brands. And if you think about how the retail industry is going through a pretty significant transformation, while all of us shop online all the time, there's still about 80% of the purchases that happen in store. So bringing that omni-channel and connected experiences seamlessly to all our customers is a huge technology challenge. And then secondly, we're all getting more and more impatient by the day. You look at something and you want it instantly. So speed, being responsive, being reliable, scale, all of this is extraordinarily critical. If she doesn't find what she wants, when she wants, she may not give you a second chance.
All right. Now, speed and scale, and it probably is very important during certain peak times, right?
Absolutely.
That Thanksgiving to Christmas stuff. How has that gone for you? I know a lot of your infrastructure runs on VMware. How has that sort of critical points of time gone?
We have about 90% of our production workloads on VMware. And over the last two peaks, we've had flawless peaks.
All right,
and thank you all. We were actually quoted as one of the retailers that performed excellently during peak.
One of the retailers that performed excellently.
Appreciate your
Fantastic.
help.
No, we're humble and hungry and love to keep you staying running during that time. Tim, your story is incredible because Freddie Mac's gone through this incredible, sort of transformation. But in that, you guys came to a conclusion about the future of your data centers and a move to the cloud, which is pretty dramatic. How many applications do you have, by the way? Let's start there, because that's usually
Roughly
the question
600.
600 apps.
600 apps.
Okay. And maybe 5 or 10 of them SaaS? How many?
5 or 10 SaaS.
Like Workday. ServiceNow. But the others, 590 plus, you came to the conclusion you were going to move them to the cloud.
Correct.
And why not just start the refactoring and move them to the cloud just like everybody else has been talking cloud the last 10 years?
Well, we're a heavily regulated environment. We have a lot of money moving through our systems. We can't take the risks to go and do a massive transformation of our apps. We're sitting on 100 million lines of code. And so when we looked at the analysis of what it would take to do that, the VMC offering popped in and was perfect to help us move quickly.
I remember when I first asked Tim that question, he said, Sanjay, try taking 100 million lines of code and transforming that, refactoring it.
Good luck.
So we began the discussion of migration, and you are in that journey basically going to migrate how many of your apps into VMware Cloud and AWS?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them, except for the handful of SaaS, a little smidgen that are left on some physicals that will move up over the next couple of years, but 95% plus.
When I heard that, I practically fell off my chair, okay? But when I got back on my chair, how is that possible, and where are you in that journey?
We are 2/3 through. So we have 600 applications to move. We started in February. We expect to be done by Thanksgiving.
All 590 apps?
All of them.
That is amazing. That deserves a hand, ladies and gentlemen. I've never seen that in any, that's incredible. Okay, so, and as you do that, there is this big debate, and I want to come back to you, Rathi, because you've heard this through Pat's discussion today. Do you migrate? Do you modernize? Do you do both together? I'm going to come back to you, Tim, because I know you have a point of view on this. You began the process, Rathi, of actually modernizing before migrating with Pivotal. Let's tell us a little bit of how you're using Cloud Foundry.
Yeah, of course. So of course we went through our journey of, we have around 1,000 apps across.
1,000 apps in your case.
1,000 apps across the board. And it was very critical for us to start migrating what's critical for the business, the site, the stores, our inventory, without disrupting our business. And we often joke in-house, we have a huge ecosystem. There hasn't been a database that we didn't like, so we have them all in our family. So being able to actually modernize without disrupting the business was a complex challenge. We weren't all cloud native across, and Pivotal played a very critical role for us to be that crawl, walk, run in our cloud journey. So we have about over 60% of our workloads on Pivotal at this point.
So 60 to 70% of your 1,000 apps have been modernized steadily with Pivotal Cloud Foundry. And as you heard today, we're bringing that all together under this Tanzu.
Delighted.
What do you think of Tanzu?
I think that's brilliant. And my passion is, I think Pat brought out the whole bringing the operator and the developer and the monitoring and ability to modernize and migrate all at the same time. That's a huge thing, so appreciate it. We also leverage Carbon Black, so we're a big...
All right, we're going to come back to that. She's getting ahead of the script, but that's all good. She's so excited. But let's talk about, you've got migrate and modernize. In your case, you started to modernize, but your migrate strategy is Azure today.
Yeah.
So here we're talking about the fact that it's a multi-cloud world. You've bet completely on AWS, VMware Cloud and AWS. You've got the modernize first and migrate into Azure.
Yes.
But in the middle of this is VMware, hopefully.
Yeah, it's all over.
Okay, great. Now, Tim, coming back to you, in this debate of migrate and modernize, okay, M&M. Maybe there's a bag of M&Ms for you guys afterwards. In this M&M world, you've got a debate as to whether you should migrate first and then modernize, or modernize, migrate, and you were telling me backstage, really, these need to be thought of as together, right?
Together.
Tell us more.
We started our Kubernetes and containerization journey probably 2 to 3 years ago. It's slow, right? We have probably 5% of our applications that are running in containers at this point. So when we looked at the push, we really wanted to push to migrate this year. Our main pitch was to get more resiliency. So that was the real business outcome we were trying to drive, and then give us a platform to continue to modernize.
So now with Tanzu and Project Pacific, which will bring Kubernetes deep into vSphere, what are your thoughts on that? Maybe the modernized part could go faster too.
I'm excited and want to talk to the engineers.
Tim was talking to Joe Beta backstage, and Joe already signed him up to be a design partner. So
Sorry, Frank, I already signed it.
all right, so we're good. So that's incredible, and that's kind of a key message I would leave with all of you folks. The debate has been, should you just go refactor all your apps 10 years ago? And that's what the industry did. And then more recently, they used the term lift and shift, which we don't really like. We'd really think of it as migrate. And you heard through this conference, modernize, and we want you to really think of those together.
Yes.
Now, Tim, you are also starting to use Skyline with some of the way in which you connect telemetry into our system. Tell us how, it's early stages, but how are you using it?
The VMC offerings continuing to grow, and continuing to, it's modernizing itself. And we really push the edge of the envelope in terms of concentration of mass. So getting additional telemetry in place to understand what's happening on those edge devices on the network was critical for us to be able to continue to move as quickly as we are. So we were a buyer on that very early.
And you've got it connected now to some of the network devices, Skylines, and that will...
We're measuring 32 different parameters on the network in real time.
Great. Now, Rathi, as you think about the future of Gap, you've got the divestiture and so on and so forth, you've been able to not just use many of our tools, it's an ecosystem. You're using some monitoring tools like PagerDuty. Are they all integrated into the way in which you...
They're all integrated. Yeah, I think that we use a bunch of monitoring tools. Our alerting tool is PagerDuty of choice, and this is the way we've been driving the whole DevOps culture and revolution in-house.
That's great. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the end user landscape. Sure. You obviously were talking a little bit about Carbon Black, but we began our discussions with you, Rathi, during the AirWatch days, and began to really sort of deploy this in mobile, deployments in your retail sites.
Yeah.
How has that gone, and where are you in that now what we call Workspace ONE journey?
So we are leveraging it in, I think, over 10,000 devices across all our stores and all our point of sale, iPads, etc. So it's been a huge deployment for us, and we're very excited to continue our journey, especially leveraging it in-house in our facilities as well for our laptops.
That's great. And the in-house part would be Windows 10 and so on and so forth down the road. And Tim, where are you in your end-user computing journey?
It's in-house. So we're using, we're absolutely leveraging Workspace ONE. Love it. We are at the very, very tail end of our conversion. We've got 10 BlackBerry users left that are getting kicked off this week, and we're shutting the servers down next week.
You know, at a previous VMworld, I got in trouble here for sort of singing Let It Go from Frozen for the BlackBerry users. But at the right point in time, we'll be happy to ease off that platform.
Yes.
And as you think about the entire world of, end user management, endpoint management and endpoint security, I didn't actually know till we were backstage that you're a Carbon Black user, and Patrick, you'll be excited about that.
Yes.
That's the early forms of security. Our goal is to unify those.
Yes, absolutely.
We would be remiss if we didn't ask you, what could we do better? Okay, and either one can start. What could VMware do better? I mean, we're not perfect. There are a lot of things that we've had ups and down, bumps in the journey. We've sought to build a close partnership. Maybe starting with you, Rathi, and then Tim. What could VMware do better in our partnership with you?
So first of all, like I said, we have over 50,000 servers that are powered by VMware. And in retail business, we have these peaks and valleys in our business. When there's a promo back to school, or like you mentioned, 4th of July, or the peak, or Thanksgiving, we go through about 600% spike in our workloads from the regular flow. So for us, it's super, super critical to be able to scale in that flux and be reliable, and VMware has done phenomenally. So we rely on you for that stability, efficiency, and security, which I think, thank you. You've done well for us and been that partner. If we ever needed something, I think you've always been there. As you're acquiring, and I'm super excited, especially as the rest of our ecosystem is all coming together with the Pivotal and Carbon Black, and you've been part of our journey as we're trying to migrate to Azure, et cetera. I would love for VMware to be that thought partner. How can we better leverage the family of tools in the right way that will accelerate and expedite our transformation along with you? So
that's great. We hear that from a number of other customers, which is, listen, don't just be reactive, be a consultative, proactive advisor, a trusted advisor to us.
Right.
From not just your executives, but the consulting team we put on. There's certainly
many areas we can grow. And especially to think about things like Pivotal. We're very excited about Pivotal Labs and some of the things that they will bring in terms of agile development. Tim, you've been through ups and downs with us, and you've been very gracious and giving us feedback, and sometimes, you know, a longer rope than we did, but you've been very patient through that. What advice do you have for what we can continue to do better with you?
So the one thing I would want to see you continue to focus on is the resiliency of the platform.
Resiliency of the platform.
Especially with respect to cloud. So we were on VMware 15 years ago. 96% of my apps are running on it, but running on top of enterprise class servers. So what we've seen is when we move to the cloud, those cloud servers go down much more often and go down much more catastrophically. And the difference is, can we get to where the VMC platform can actually insulate us from that completely? It does a good job today. I'd love to see the investment continue to have it do a great job of doing that.
Because when you're
give us time to modernize.
Absolutely, and because when you're done, you're going to practically be evacuated from the data centers and relying on VMware Cloud and AWS for a large part.
We're all in.
So we have to be that resilient partner for you. In the closing minute, maybe 30 seconds from each of you, what advice would you have to other people who are in the midst of their cloud journey? Maybe starting with you, Tim, and then we'll end with you, Rathi.
Build your tech team up, establish that very, very strong partnership with your crew, set aggressive goals, escalate very quickly when you run into anything to give the teams time to deal with it, and trust the tech and trust the team. It works.
Great, thank you. Rathi.
I would say one of the famous things our founders at Gap said was change or fail. I mean, I think with the cloud journey, it's evolving so rapidly. Having the mindset of we're ready to change, reinvent ourselves, and be ready to take some failures and quickly learn and adapt is going to be key to keep up with this pace.
Good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you give it up for Rathi and Tim, two great CTOs from Gap and Freddie Mac. Thank you, Rathi. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for being with us. Have a good one. Great. Okay, folks, as we wrap this up, I've got two more important topics. I've been super excited about the cloud the last 3 years, but the first 3 years of my journey here at VMware, for many of you knew me, was in this area of the digital workspace. And it's just a very, very incredible journey that the team has continued to execute with these sort of core principles. Why does your consumer life have to be so easy and your enterprise life so hard? Why don't we combine the best experiences from your consumer life? You know, for example, music comes to you, you don't carry around CDs. Movies come to you, you don't carry around all of these VPN and security capabilities. And I don't know how many of you like getting your laptop and your gear at work like a week after you've started work. Let's bring together consumer simple, enterprise secure. And we have been executing with now 80,000 odd customers. And the team has built a platform called Workspace ONE that many of you are using. Very fortunate to have these two customers today. But our mission is very simple. Every employee in the world should be using Workspace ONE. Let's do a quick little math. There's 7 billion people in the world. We estimate about 1 billion of them are employees of some company, okay? In a variety of different countries. The others are children or retired or maybe unemployed. Every one of them has a phone, okay? Some of them don't have a laptop, but every one of them have a phone. If you go to countries like Africa, they access the internet through the phone today, India and China. But most likely every of them has a phone and a laptop, okay? Why not have all of them access their apps through Workspace ONE? What do you guys think? That's the vision we have. So what does that estate look like? We call that a fleet. The fleet looks very simple. It's Apple devices, iOS, Mac, okay? Google devices, Android or Chrome, or Microsoft devices, Windows 10, variety of other devices like IoT and rugged. And we seek to become that company that can manage and secure that better than anybody else. Now, in some of these newer areas like laptops, you've had older solutions, and we've been working really, really hard to make the Microsoft ecosystem of products really, really pristine. And for example, most of you use Office 365. Many of you use Windows 10. We want to make that modern management simple. We announced this on stage with Michael Dell and Satya Nadella and Pat Gelsinger, a pristine partnership. And we've been solving things like conditional access for data leakage scenarios very well in Office 365. And then our partner Dell took it a step further. And they've now built a unified workspace product that's deeply embedded into the hardware so that from the silicon to the software, you have a great management and security solution
for Dell laptops running Windows 10. But then they took it a step further. They announced today that same solution will run on Google Chromebooks. Amazing. So we're seeing this marriage of incredible management, endpoint management solutions baking their way into hardware, and we're very, very excited about this. Now, that's the sort of the enterprise secure part of it. But how do you also make it consumer simple? And this is where you have to go to the business users and ask them, listen, how do you make your employee experience really, really easy? Because like I said, most often employees come to a company and they say, listen, it takes me too long to get onboarded. Days and weeks. That's got to be minutes. So we did a survey of about 7,000 odd enterprise customers across the world, and we did ask them a question as to what makes the difference between leaders and laggards in employee experience. And we found that those companies who focused on employee experience, okay, were 23% more likely to be a leader, 60% to have higher growth, and 41% likely to have an employee NPS. So when you focus on employee experience, you actually get business results. And this is the coming together of HR and IT. And our HR teams become just as important as the end user computing IT teams. We really got to work these together. So we took that a step further, and we're working with some of the leading partners of ours like Workday and Atlassian Jira, and we've been innovating some things that is going to be groundbreaking in employee experience. I'd like to roll a video of a soon coming product called the Workspace ONE Virtual Assistant. Let's roll the video, please.
Meet Nadia. She has just received a job offer from your company. Nadia is prompted to download Workspace ONE Intelligent Hub and is welcomed by her virtual assistant, which is powered by AI. The assistant provides her offer letter and, once signed, helps Nadia to get everything she needs for her first day. The assistant displays her options so she can choose her ideal laptop and accessories, and even an ergonomic desk. She's all set for day one before ever coming to the office. On her first day, Nadia gets a notification from IT stating they're ready for her to activate her full digital workspace. She can simply press Activate to get going. She inputs her IT-assigned credentials, and then Workspace ONE comes to life. She's provided with secure access to the company's intranet site and all of the apps she'll need to do her job. Clicking on the People tab, Nadia can see her manager as well as the rest of the team. At any point in the day, Nadia can click on her virtual assistant and ask questions. It will intuitively connect her to the answers most likely to help. Workspace ONE is consumer simple and enterprise secure. With the new virtual assistant, help is always just a click away.
What'd you guys think? We want your experience to be as simple and as easy as that, as joining a company. When I ask employees who join VMware, how quickly did you get your laptop and your phone? And they tell me it's 15, 20 minutes. That's an experience we want all of you to have. And if you doubt us, go and ask any VMware employee today to show you Workspace ONE on their phone or their laptop. And if they can't show it to you, send me an email, because maybe I have to have a separate chat with them, okay? Go to the showcase keynote later this afternoon. The team will walk you through. Well, my latest favorite topic is security. And I'm super excited about this because, this industry we've been talking about for the last few years needs to be reshaped. Let me start with a simple analogy. There's a lot of set parallels between security and healthcare. My mom's a doctor. And imagine if you went to a doctor and said, listen, what do I need to get well? And the doctor said, you need to have 5,000 tablets, okay? If you did the math and you ate tablets every 30 seconds, it would take you a couple of weeks to add 5,000 tablets. But that's unfortunately what this industry is. It's a broken industry with 5,000 vendors, okay, and a bloatware set of agents on people's laptops or endpoints, a lot of very crowded consoles, legacy technologies that have not innovated. The companies sort of become legacy and then get sold to hardware companies, get spun out of hardware companies into PE companies, and the employees leave. Okay, that's not the experience of innovation. We looked at this industry and said there's got to be a better way in which the advent of mobile and cloud and native ways in which you do things software-defined can reshape this fundamentally. And that's what VMware does well. We take a broken industry and we ask ourselves, how can we innovate it for the future? And this is what our vision is. You take that same point of view that Pat laid out so eloquently around any cloud, any app, and any device, and people were asking us, what's those little locks on the right-hand side? Well, we said it's security. You're like, yeah, but you do app defense, you do a little bit of NSX and Workspace ONE. That's not really security in its full form, and some people were starting to say, in the words of a Texan, that's like big hat and no cattle, okay? So what's really you're trying to get done? And with the advent of Carbon Black and what we're going to be doing the next few years, we think it's going to be groundbreaking. And here's very simple, on one Sesame Street simple chart, what we are doing, what we plan to do. There are 5 key control points in security. It starts with the network, okay? And we've been innovating incredibly there, as Pat talked about. The second is the endpoint, but people think of the endpoint traditionally as just the client endpoint, devices. No, there's just as important workload endpoints, servers, containers, compute in the cloud. Very, very important. In fact, there's probably more endpoints long-term in that part of the world. Number 3, identity. Very important, especially given the breaches we've heard about in the last year or two. Number 4, the cloud and the way the cloud works. And all of these 4 spit out the 5th area, which is a telemetry of data called analytics. These are the 5 important control points that we believe will create an intrinsic security platform mapped into that any cloud, any app device world. So with that, we're excited to bring into our family, pending the close, Carbon Black for 5,600 customers, 500 plus partners, the leader in this area, especially in building the cloud. And Patrick, we're looking forward to the journey. And every one of you should get a chance to look at their solution in the booth. But here's a little bit more of what Carbon Black does. They have built a security cloud which has sort of 3 core characteristics. It's an AI-powered data lake, okay? Number 2, it's a very smart, lightweight agent. And number 3, the whole architecture is cloud native and multi-tenant. So when you do this in the cloud with those types of characteristics, you're able to do point problems like endpoint detection response, a slew of other modules that you'll see us packaging up post-launch, next-gen AV, device control, and a variety of other ones. And we are going to add into this family post-close VMware modules too, app defense that you know very well, okay, and announce also at this show vulnerability management. When we put that together, those 8, 9 modules with the ecosystem, you get magic. First off, let's tell you what we think we can do in integrating this deeply inside VMware, because that's basically taking that DNA or that sort of core vitamin and pouring it into the body. Number 1, we think we can do what's never been done before, which is taking sort of app defense powered now by Carbon Black and making it agentless on the server with vSphere. Okay? Never been done before. This was the first foray of what we were doing with vSphere Platinum and Enterprise Plus. We're going to take it a whole new level, and nobody else can do that. Number 2, this is sort of, there are lots of analogies of food here. This is peanut butter and jelly, okay? Workspace ONE and Carbon Black. Why? Because one solves endpoint management, the other one solves endpoint security. And I had CIOs come to me and say, listen, I use AirWatch, now Workspace ONE, and then I use Carbon Black or some other EDR tool. Why aren't these coming from one company and more integrated? Endpoint management, endpoint security should go together like PB&J. No problem, we'll make that happen, pending close. Number 3, network threat analytics. Why not take that core capability and embed it inside NSX for the next generation of threat analytics? And number 4, we acquired this company called Cloud Courier. Very excited about it, secure state, handles a lot of the config issues that you've seen recently in some of the breaches. We can add Carbon Black into that. So these are at least 4 and many more areas that we will be able to do. And then we'll take it to the ecosystem. For example, we'll take it to our partner Dell and SecureWorks and layer that into the way in which servers and the client laptops potentially work to make them not just managed with Workspace ONE, example unified workspace, but secured now with the combination of that workspace security. Workspace ONE plus endpoint security equals workspace security. Manage that also through the MSSP partners like SecureWorks, but not exclusively there. There'll be other partners. There are other managed security partners like IBM. There are many of you SI partners here. There are VARs. All of you will get the benefit of this as we work together to create a vibrant ecosystem. So in summary, this is going to be our strategy. We're getting started. We're very, very excited about how this intrinsic security portfolio is going to completely disrupt the industry in a positive way, and we look forward to embarking on that journey with you. Similarly to the end user computing keynote, please make sure you go to this security keynote later this afternoon. And I would love to see all of you crowd the Carbon Black booth and get a demo from them. This is incredible, incredible technology. So how have you thought about VMworld 2019 so far? It's been great. And you know what? We had so much content packed into this, I didn't think Pat and I could do it with like 45 seconds left. I thought we were going to be 15 minutes over. So we're doing good on time. Let me, before I wrap up, just give you a little bit of housekeeping on the rest of the afternoon. We've got some incredible showcase keynotes. I'd love to see all 20,000 of you distribute into these 7 keynotes. These are important because we go deeper in any of these areas with some incredible, incredible product folks who will walk you through the roadmap there. And tomorrow, make sure you show up here. My wonderful colleague, Ray O'Farrell, okay, is going to be here talking about the product and its demos. And we have 2 incredible, incredible athletes who've made their mark in life. One of them, Hall of Famer Steve Young from the 49ers, and the other person, Lindsey Vonn, who is a world champion skier. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great VMworld 2019. Take care.
One, two, three.